All right, so I've piped our basket weave all the way around, and now I'm going to put a little bit of a basket topper on it. So I've put in a tip, and it's just a, unfortunately I put it in before I checked what tip it was, so I can't read it. I'll take it out and I'll let you know what tip it is. But you can see it's just got a lot of ridges in it. And so I'm just going to take that and make kind of curled shells to go around. And that's going to give us the edge of our basket. And that'll give us a topper, because all baskets have a bit of a top on it. And this also doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to be filling the basket with all kinds of stuff. So don't worry about it being exactly perfect, because it's going to be, parts of it are going to be hidden. And if you have one of the shells you don't like, then you can specifically target and cover that one and not have to worry about it. So get those going all the way around, like that. All right, so I'm not happy with that end, but I'll cover that up when I need to. All right, now let's put some fondant in there. And now I'm going to show you how to make some balls of yarn. So I've already made 2 balls of yarn, and you only need half balls because the rest of the ball would be inside the basket. So you can see we have these 2. They're going to sit right in there, and I'm going to show you how I made these 2. This was my other 8-inch tier, and I'm just going to use a circle cutter, and I'm going to cut out one section of it, like that. And now we can get rid of this out of the way. And I'm going to take my carving knife, let me grab that, and I'm going to carve this, and it can be really rough, but I'm just going to carve it into kind of a half circle cake. Now if you have the pans that bake the half circles, by all means you can use that to bake it. You don't have to do it this way, but I don't have those pans and I don't mind carving a little bit, so that's how I do it. So you can see it's a really rough half circle. I'm not being exact at all. So now that I've got it kind of shaped somewhat how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and cover it with ganache. Let me get all this cleaned up and I'll be right back. Now we're going to take our half ball of cake and we're just going to cover it with ganache. And again, you don't have to be exact because it's just a ball of yarn. It's not perfectly round. It's not going to be all exactly perfect spherical. So I'm going to just cover this with ganache. Try to do it without it completely pulling up my cake. There we go. And I'm not going to worry about it being really smooth. I just really want to cover the cake so that my fondant has something to adhere to. All right. It's messy, but it's done. Okay, get that back on there, go around. All right, so you can see we were not exact on that at all, but it's covered. Now we're going to take our half circle of cake and ganache and we're going to cover it with fondant. So I want to do a pink yarn. I've got my teal and I've got my purple. So I'm just going to roll out a section of the pink like this. And I'm going to take a big circle cutter and I'm going to cut it. You don't have to use a circle cutter. You can just cut it like that. But I'm going to take my big circle cutter and I'm going to give it a little stretch because I want to make sure it covers it. And I'm going to lay it over my fondant all the way around and attach it. So I'm not being very delicate. I'm not making sure it's exact. I'm going to take my pizza cutter and cut the extra pieces off that are touching the board because I want to make sure that it's just down to the bottom. So get rid of those little few extra pieces like that. And now we are ready to add our yarn. Put it over here because I've got a little bit of chocolate there and I don't want any chocolate to get on the rest of my fondant. So now we need to make all this yarn. And to do that, we're going to use an extruder. And this is the Makin's clay extruder. And I like this one the best. It comes with a variety of inserts. So we're going to use this little one that has a ton of little holes in it that's going to give us our yarn. And you put that in there And then you want to bring the plunger all the way out, and you're going to put our fondant in, and we're going to start making our yarn. The first thing I do though, once I get the plunger all the way to the base, is I want to put a little bit of Crisco inside the extruder, because you want to make sure it's nice and smooth in there so your fondant doesn't stick. So I'm going to put that both sides with my pinky that fits in there, just like that.